instead off to the outside, try to open up the corner, and wow, great move from Oliveira. Can he get this one right back? Cavisto's not done, but he carries the speed well. Oh, nearly. Once again, banging doors. Inside for Piper. If he can keep it on the track, he doesn't. Oh, wheels spinning up the grass as Cavisto somehow doesn't get into the wall. 3 wide down into Hobbs, and diving it deep. Olivier really wants that spot.
This was on my side monitor, and I watched him flash through here. This is insane. Look at it, offline, in the marbles, gets around Mr. Sneaky. I think we're going to have to change Mr. Sneaky from Takeshi Kita to Gunderson.
He's got a little bit of an overlap, and he's got the right-hand side. DJ seems to think that's the place to go. Will that be the case? He gains a little bit back, but now it's going to switch back in favor of David Burns. He carries it around the outside with a ton of speed, but he keeps it well, and he's got a nose ahead coming off the corner. Burns has better momentum. He has got it. David Burns will win here in Canada.
Watch how close this gets. Andrew Hardman, king of going up the inside, decides to go around the outside. Overprotected going into there. Hardman actually in the lead at this point. Waring comes back and says, nope, I'm not letting you have it. I'm taking one of the 10,000 lines going through 10 and gets back into the lead. This was a pass on the last lap that became an unpass as they went into that final corner. Good defense from Waring. Hardman trying to go around the outside, gets the power down, but just doesn't quite have enough to make it. But that was some amazing racing.
And Challoner is going to try it, and they're going to go 3 wide. That's his teammate, is it not? One of our Evolve drivers, but it looks like Challoner can't quite make the pass. Andrew Waring trying to come back through as he cuts underneath a savvy move from the number 5, and he's going to have that 3rd place.
Hey there, I'm Nicholas Dubois, co-founder of Advanced SimRacing. We are a Canadian company. So what we did here today is for a real petrol head. He's really passionate about cars, as you can see behind me. We did a turnkey solution for him based on his needs. We try to gather as much information as we can on our client. And like we did today, we install a D-Box system. We install ultra-wide cube control steering wheel. We try to provide the best quality for your budget. So let's say if you want a budget of 10 grand, we're gonna give you something that's the best for 10 grand. If you want 20 grand, then we always try to stay within your boundaries. We do try to make it as easy as possible. So the client, once we install everything, it's pretty much gonna be a turnkey. So he's gonna press start on his computer, and right after, we'll try to explain everything, how it goes, how it works, and then he's ready to go. Our aluminum is from USA, treated in Canada, cut in Canada. So we do sand all our aluminum piece just to make sure the powder coat sticks to it. And that's one of the reasons why we use powder coat, is to make sure you have the best aluminum finish in the industry. And our quality is beyond what you can get with any other competitors right now. We are really, really passionate about all the gear, all the cockpits, all the sim hardware, and that's why we want to create something that's really going to reflect our passion into our product. Come visit us at advancedsimracing.com. You can always reach us if you have any questions. You can call us, you can text us, you can go on Facebook, like our page, ask us questions over there, and we'll make sure to answer every questions there is. We are very passionate about what we do, and we try to make it as easier for you to go into the sim racing world, because there's a lot of gear, there's a lot of options, but let us guide you through your process, and let's hope you'll be an Advanced Sim Racing customer.
In the Ferraris, Bergstrom remains winless, but is only 5 points behind McLaughlin after a round to forget for the latter. In the Formula 3s, Diaz holds on to the lead, but plenty of drivers are chomping at the bit. Plenty can change in a single night of racing, and we get the feeling tonight may be one of those nights. Get ready for action and drama as we gear up for round 8 of Thursday nights at the Precision Racing League, and you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing channel. Hi, I'm Reese Gardner, and with me in the booth is Michael Johnson. Behind the scenes is our director Joe Peak, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. The Ferrari Fixed Challenge kicks it off at Barber Motorsports Park, a comparatively young track, but one that has more than earned its place amongst America's road courses. Let's find out what makes it such a highly regarded venue.
Welcome to Barber Motorsports Park. Located just east of Birmingham, Alabama, this is one of the newer circuits in American road racing. The track was built in 2003 by George Barber to go along with his Barber Vintage Motorsports Museum, which can be seen appropriately from Museum Corner on the track. While the main circuit is the full course, which includes 16 turns over roughly 2.25 miles, there are also two lesser used layouts called the Short A and Short B courses. The track is known for its technical layout and hugely dramatic elevation changes. In every category of racing, it carries a reputation of making overtakes difficult. That's not to say it's impossible, with most passes happening into Charlotte's Web. Named for the spider sculpture outside the hairpin, it often suckers drivers into braking too deep with the sudden drop just as you attempt to slow the car down. That's not the most challenging part of the circuit, though. Museum Corner is reminiscent of turns like the Corkscrew, with its blind entry, multiple apexes, and cliff-like plunge down a hill. IndyCar and IMSA have visited many times in the past decade, while motorcycle racing is also a regular staple here. Practice and precision are usually required to be able to find a fast lap, but there's a heavy dose of bravery also needed in a number of spots. Despite the track being very wide, accidents often collect multiple cars due to the lack of visibility over crests. All in all, this place proves tough to even seasoned veterans. But with the hillsides and trees providing beautiful natural viewing spaces and an immaculate facility, it's no wonder fans keep showing up in droves to watch the racing here.
What a brilliant track this is, Michael. It's tight and twisty with plenty of elevation changes. I'm looking forward to seeing how the Ferraris tackle it.
The Ferraris are going to have a good time here. We are using the full layout, which is the most common one to see here. This track is honestly probably my favorite one to visit in the United States. It's just from the stunning beauty of it. It's like they started making a golf course, and I've said this before. They started making a golf course and went, nah, I'd rather build a racetrack. And the racetrack they built is just fun. Every corner has a story. Every corner is going to catch you off guard if you're not ready for it. I think we're going to see some interesting attempts, maybe through turn 1 or entering the Alabama roller coaster. Charlotte's Web, definitely the best spot for passing. But even going down into Museum Corner, you can see some too wide stuff happening down there. And then it's kind of a train on that back half, the little hammerhead thing back there. But there are 16, well, no, maybe 14, no, maybe 17 turns. It depends on how you count them. But tonight we're going to say it's 16 turns, but I can get anywhere from 14 to 17 for you, depending on how I count it. It's about 2.4 miles, just under 4 kilometers. It is a blast. There's so much elevation change, and some of the corners are completely blind. It's going to be great racing. Absolutely stunning track and brilliant racing tonight.
Let's certainly hope so. The Ferraris are going to be racing around here for 35 minutes once again in our broadcast, which is brought to you by Advanced SimRacing. Owned and operated by passionate SimRacers, Advanced SimRacing designs and builds the sturdiest and most durable aluminium profile racing simulation cockpits available in the market today. Visit them at advancedsimracing.com.
It's also sponsored by RaceLab. RaceLab helps you to improve your driving skills. With modern overlays, race statistics, and native VR integration, you can get the best out of iRacing. Start using it now for free at racelab.app.
Today's broadcast is also proudly sponsored by ButtKicker. ButtKicker products add an incredible immersion and realism to any game. Feel every nuance and truly put yourself in the driver's seat. Check them out at thebuttkicker.com.
And finally, PRL is also brought to you by NinjaTrader. Ready to compete against the financial markets? Supporting over 60,000 users across the globe, NinjaTrader provides award-winning trading software and brokerage services. NinjaTrader is always free to use for advanced charting, backtesting, and trade simulation. Visit NinjaTrader.com to get started with a risk-free trading simulator and start tracking your performance.
Well, in terms of the drivers' standings, as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, Alec Bergstrom only 5 points behind Nick McLaughlin. This is going to be very tight going into the final few rounds. Bergstrom has a drop round. He has dropped 26 points off his standings due to his worst result being at round 6. But I tell you what, another poor showing for Nick McLaughlin, combined with maybe a DNF or a DNS for Alec Bergstrom, could potentially give him the championship lead. It's going to be interesting in these final 3 rounds.
It is going to be interesting to watch how this turns out, and especially when we get over to the team standings. Look how close this is up top. We've got Eagle Vision Racing with 312 points, just 7 points back. F-Red Racing and Viking Hot Rod only 10 points back. It's pretty tight right there. Now, Clovalve Racing is 39 points back, but they're looking pretty good tonight. And, you know, hey, top of the driver standings too. Not a bad place to be.
Not a bad place to be indeed. The Ferraris, as I mentioned, are going to be racing for 35 minutes. It's a fixed setup. And, of course, the drivers are going to have to be careful of incidents around here. It's a newer track here at Barber, but very much old school, with grass and gravel lining the track at pretty much every corner. So the drivers will have a bit of trouble keeping their incidents under 13, I would say, at least a few of them, with a disqualification at 17, and of course that bonus point for pole, fastest lap, or 3 incidents or less. The drivers are in qualifying at the moment, and I've got to say, the practice pace was certainly with, surprise, surprise, Kenny Duval. He was looked like 300ths ahead of Nick McLaughlin around this track. Duval is looking quick here, but unfortunately, looks like Mark File having a couple of issues there. Kenny Duval now on his next lap here. The Ferraris each get 4 laps within 10 minutes, which they should be able to get within this 10-minute qualifying session. 21.1 so far for Duval, and currently P2. Nick McLaughlin taking provisional pole for the time being. Everyone's on their second laps at the moment, so everything could change.
Oh, yeah, exciting times in the qualifying. Now, I think one of the biggest incident generators, so incident point generators for people, it's going to be turn 12. And if we watch right here, dropping into, well, nope, he is actually in the museum turn there, but he comes back across here. He's going to shoot up to the upper short straight, and then it has the track dives down and goes into 11, and then you jump that giant curbing on the right side. As we watch the 62 coming through there right now, looks like he missed the curbing, but right there. See how close he is? That is exactly where you need to be, but you can't see it when you're coming up there, and it's going to generate a lot of very interesting reactions as people try to pilot their cars over that little rise.
Yeah, very blind that. McLaughlin gets into the 1 minute 20s meanwhile, 1 minute 20.8 for him, and that is pretty much on par with what he set in practice. It's only 100th of a second off. Duval coming up to the final sector now, and he took a little bit more of that curb than McLaughlin did, so maybe that will help him on his run through. These last couple of turns, they are very frustrating in the driver's seat. It's a curved braking zone, and you've got to really back off if you want to get a good run down the start-finish straight. What will Kenny Duval do? Oh, my goodness.
Something happened on that one. That was not good. But he's got another run here. And, of course, Joey Tebbin sitting in third place right now. He's putting together a very fine lap. See how much curb he's taking there? That's what you got to do if you want to make the time on this track. Maybe a little less during the race. During qualifying, you can afford usually to take a little bit extra and push those limits a little bit. But wow, look at that. He was even touching the grass as he came there. But this uphill, see how it flattens out? It really tests your ability to hold the brakes. Holding to the right side there, puts the hammer down. I think he could have taken a little more curbing there, though. If he'd have taken a little more of that inside curbing, I think he might have gotten a little bit quicker. But that time is good for second place. That puts Joey Tebbins P2, about 2/10 behind Nick McLaughlin. So nice job.
Yeah, not bad at all there from Joey Tebbin. Sean Duhamel, meanwhile, looks like he's carrying a bit of damage to his rear wing. The left side of it is a little bit down, so Duhamel has had a bit of an incident out there on track. Seems that he's still keeping up with the pace, though. Matias Arangua goes 121.4 and remains in 4th place. It'll be interesting to see what Duval can do because they're... Oh, well, I've just seen him go to P2 again, 1 minute 20.969 there, and it looks like that is his qualifying run done. Eric Luke, teammate to Nick McLaughlin at Cloud Valve Racing, is back and in the grass. That lap is not going to count. He's still yet to set a time here in this session.
Yeah, this track, because so many corners, especially in the last third of the lap, are blind. You just can't see what's there. The important thing to remember if you're ever driving this track is that thing you can't see, it's okay. It's in the same place it was last time you went through there. You just have to envision it. Whoa, there we go. There we have a little stunt driving from Baron Hilton. That's always fun to watch. And, ooh, Brian Hoskins trying to drift it into the pit lane. Yeah, not the effective way, I guess, but you know, he had the time he wanted and he's good.
He's good indeed. That pit entry is going to be a point of contention in this race. It's a 40% fuel tank restriction in the Ferraris, which should force a stop for fuel about halfway through. So you have to get that right. Drivers will be getting a little bit of practice here at the end of the qualifying session, I'm sure. Matias Arangua pulls over. That's the end of his session. Meanwhile, Mr. Luke winning the first round of the season at Interlagos, but his attendance and results have been patchy since. Let's see if he can actually get a time on the board this time. Goodness, he is having a lot of trouble there getting over the rise. Oh man, goodness. I wonder if he's going to be able to get a time that he's happy with here. Coming through the final couple of turns now. A good clean exit out of the final corner, but might be a few tenths off with that mistake. 1 minute 21.5 is what he does, and that's good enough for 5th.
That's not a bad lap. The car looked a little bit on edge. He was getting wiggly as he went through there. But if you can still pull off a P5 with the car that much on edge, that's good driving. I mean, that he held on to that, overdrove it a little bit, but you know, he knew exactly how far he could take it. Meanwhile, Sean Duhamel still has that little extra downforce on the left side, trying to make his way through turn 1, get a nice dive down in there. It's interesting because the sim shows that is grass as you exit out there. In real life, that is paved, and you have a safe runoff there. In the sim, you do not have a safe runoff, so you really have to be careful. It looks like Joey Tebbins out trying to see if he can get that P2 back from Kenny Duvall. Or actually, you know, he's probably going for P1. He wants to upset Nick McLaughlin and get in there, but he'd at least like to get the place back from Kenny.
And he was very aggressive over that curb, aggressive over these curbs as well. Puts the whole car over it. Yeah. Nicely done there, Joey Tebbin. Let's see what he can do here. Goes nice and tight into the final couple corners. Bit of a shorter distance towards the apex, and this should translate into a good run, Michael.
I wonder if he's listening to us. Joey, flash your lights at us if you're actually listening to us in the broadcast. We can see your lights now. So, no, he just knew to do it anyway. I was like, oh, he got a little free coaching there. But no, he knew what to do. He's a good driver.
Indeed. Well, that's the end of the qualifying session. All the drivers have got their times in aside from the last two, and we will go through the grid now. Nick McLaughlin in the number 62 starts alongside the number 63 of Kenny Duval. Joey Tebben in third alongside Matthias Arangua, with Eric Luke and Sean Duhamel rounding out the top six. It's Eric Dubé and Dave Peterson on row 4. Paul Wildridge and Brian Hoskins round out the top 10.
And on row number 6, we have Owen McLaughlin with a pretty good time in the number 90. Baron Hilton alongside him in P12. Mark Feil and David Christelli are on row 7. Donald Olson, Spencer Simkovich on row 8. In 17th place, row 9, David Boucher, along with Jack Clark in 18th, with Eric Evans filling out the field, but also no time.
Yes, Clark and Evans not taking part in the qualifying session. They'll be hoping to make up those positions throughout this 35-minute race. And it's going to be a full formation lap here at Barber Motorsports Park, so the drivers will have a little bit of extra time to suss out the track conditions here as the pace car pulls away. Now, I gotta say, Kenny Duval very close on pace to Nick McLaughlin this round. Duval has always been a fast driver in this series, but it's been the pits that have taken him down, and it looks like a reasonably warm track out there. 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Not that humid though, which should certainly translate to some good grip out there on the racing surface. Joey Tebben is in the chat with us at the moment as he's driving. Don't text and drive, Joey. This place punishes mistakes, and he says he should stop typing on the pace lap. There we go.
Yeah, save it for the race laps, Joe. No, so what Joey's doing, I think what Joey's doing though is trying to chill, trying to get his heart rate down, trying to relax and just sit into it and let Kenny and Nick go at it hammer and tongs, and then he can just sail right by. And that's kind of like the next track we go to for the very next race we're going to watch here is a track where exactly that happened. Is two cars in P1 and P2 crashed, and I was in P3 and ultimately won the race. That's at Hockenheim. So, hey, it could happen here. I'm sure he's looking forward to that.
Nick McLaughlin here will be looking forward to trying to get the best start possible. He's been on the cams with us all season and certainly has the pace. He is the favourite to win the championship with the most wins so far this season. But tell you what, I probably should have brought this up a little bit earlier. Alec Bergstrom is not here, so he will ultimately have this as his drop round. That, I think, is tactical. He is going to probably get a boost in points as a result of that.
Smart move, but probably just as smart as Nick McLaughlin still wearing the shirt that he wore last week. I think it's the same one. I don't know that he's taken it off. I'm just assuming he hasn't because, you know, keep the luck going or however that works.
He's worn it at every round so far, and I got to say it's worked out very well for him.
Yeah, Ferrari shirt and a Ferrari. He's doing okay.
Well then, it's the lap at Barber ends a lot quicker than you think. The driver's coming up to the last couple of turns now as the pace car goes into the lane, and we will get ready to go racing here at Barber Motorsports Park. Nick McLaughlin compresses the field, and it's going to be all about this start. Duval is a little bit ahead of him. Going to have to be careful there. McLaughlin goes early, though, catches Duval by surprise. Joey Tebben was right on it as they come into turn one for the first time. That's Tebben up into second place, Duval in third. The rest of the field staying pretty much the same, though Spencer Semkovich and David Boucher are trading positions. McLaughlin with a good exit, but Tebben with a slightly better exit. Coming down to the first heavy braking zone of the lap. I saw a couple of technical issues for Joey Tebben there. Let's see what he can do to negate those as they make their way towards the museum corner. Looked like Tebben had a little bit of oversteer on the exit. That might bring Duval back into it, but the field majority single file as they come down into the museum turn.
Yeah, as Kenny is trying to undo that mistake from the beginning, he's had a very nice recovery. It helps that he has a little bit of a draft coming off of Joey Tebben. But you know, we'll see how it works out at the end of the first lap. I don't know if Kenny's going to be able to get by him, because this is a very difficult track to pass on. There are some great passing zones, but the number one passing place, Charlotte's Web, you have to be amazingly fast. And when you've got a connection issue, like it looks like Joey Tebben has right now, that's going to make it even harder to get around him.
Yeah, it is. You can see that Nick McLaughlin has done well to get the gap, and it's a slight look up the inside there for Kenny Duval, but turn one, not usually a passing opportunity unless you're fully alongside the car you're trying to pass. He's going to have to wait a little bit longer for that. Eric Luke, meanwhile, he made up a position on the opening lap. He's up into fourth now, and he's going to be pressuring these two if they continue battling like this. A late dive up the inside there for Duval, and Tebben gives him room. So there we go, Kenny Duval back up into second place, and it looks like Eric Luke is going to follow him through.
Yeah, Tebben doing the right thing there by kind of backing out of that. I think he realized he's flashing, because when you are the flashing car, everyone around you disappears. And Joey's the kind of driver who is thoughtful of everybody else out there, and he realizes he's probably not helping. He's really hoping that whoever his internet provider is going to get their act together and keep him on track, because that would be really frustrating to fall from P3.
Certainly would. Well, Mr. Luke is not going to be filled with much confidence there, with Tebben once again disappearing off the circuit. And now he'll be hoping that he can put the move on him down at Charlotte's Web, as Duval did on the previous lap. Let's see what kind of consistency these guys can get up to, as McLaughlin sets the fastest lap, 1 minute 21.068. It's pretty close to what the drivers were setting in qualifying. So looking good for Nick McLaughlin so far. He leads by 1.3 seconds. Luke is a little bit too far back at the moment to get the move done on Tebben. He's probably going to have to wait another lap, or for a mistake from Tebben.
Yeah, and Joey may decide to bounce out of this one, although I haven't seen him blink too much on this lap. Things may be settling out now that the cars are getting a little bit wider apart, and there's no need for as much to be tracked as closely from the servers. Oh, Duval had an issue. Oh no, Kenny is off. That's going to be hard to make up from way back there. That's
oh goodness.
That's really tough. So that's going through Museum Corner, I believe. That's where he was. Just take a look at the replay as they work their way down that straightaway and into the braking zone. It's a very light brake there. Dip the car in, and now you come down. Oh, yeah, that's just a little bit too much of that curbing. But good recovery. It doesn't look like he's hit the wall. I don't think there's going to be any damage to the car. And with a driver like Kenny, you can expect him to be working his way back through. We are going to keep an eye on that and watch as he works the traffic.
He's back down to 11th now, and trying to round up David Christelli and Brian Hoskins, as there's Owen McLaughlin getting up the inside of Donald Olson into the first turn. McLaughlin did not have a good first couple of laps. He's lost 3 places, but gaining one of those back there on Donald Olson. McLaughlin is another one of the drivers that has won this season. He's actually worked himself out nicely here for the moment for Eagle Vision Racing. Only done 4 rounds out of the 7 so far, so he's off in terms of points, but when he can get here, he's certainly shown himself to be a talented driver. Let's hope that he can recover. Just up ahead here, have a look at this. Sean Duhamel and Dave Peterson, the 2 Viking hot rod cars, in 6th and 7th. They are working themselves nicely here through the final sector of the lap, and just behind them, Paul Wildridge. This is going to be an interesting battle here. They're compressing.
They are indeed. Paul has closed up significantly on this lap. There was about a 2-car length gap between them when they started the lap, but now, well, it's kind of back to it as they open up on that last corner. It looks like the teammates have a little bit better attack getting out of the final corner. Oh, as Wildridge goes very wide there. Fortunately, nobody to tuck up underneath him, so he can kind of recover there. But let's watch him as he comes up through here. Coming down to Charlotte's Web, he did close up beautifully on that previous lap under braking. He has a feel for Charlotte's Web. He went a little bit wide there, but look how much closer he is now than he was when he came out of that final corner going down towards turn 1.
He does seem quite confident on the brakes, doesn't he? How does he go down a Museum corner? Early turn in, try and avoid that curb that Kenny Duval ran over. And, wow, yeah, he's still making up just little increments of time there. It's all going to be about the final sector and that run onto the start-finish straight if he wants to try and make a move on these two Ukrainian flag liveried machines. Down into the diving chicane. How much curb are these guys going to take? It's a lot of curb there from Duhamel. Peterson and Wildridge, though, keeping off it. And there's multiple lines you can take here around Barber. It's not essential to use that curb on the inside. Some drivers actually prefer to avoid it and stay on the tarmac. A bit of a sharper turn, keep up the momentum through the corner. It also allows you to sort of straighten out your run. Oh dear, as that's a problem for Spencer Semkovic, down into 19th place now as a result of that. That's a shame. We'll check out what happened to him on the replay. Oh, yep, that'll do it. Bit too aggressive over the curb there, coming into the diving chicane and head on into the wall. Fortunately, that's not where the engine is in the Ferrari.
Yeah, but it's still going to leave a mark. We'll see how he's able to recover from that, because with all the aero advantage you get off the dive planes and all the stuff up there on the nose. Ooh, yeah, a little bit too much there. I think I would have actually tried to take the car in sideways. You're going to damage less at that point if you can kind of get the car to rotate. It seemed like he was still trying to recover a little bit there. And look at the nose of that car. It just crushed. Yeah, you know, these are such gorgeous cars too. I love the look of this car, and it just kind of tears at my heart a little bit every time I see one damaged like that.
Yeah, goodness, there's a lot of crumpling going on that front bumper, and he'll probably be struggling a little bit for front grip, which is essential at a place like Barber. Well, Nick McLaughlin continues to strut his stuff out here in the lead, and continuing to set fast times. Fastest car on track on that lap, 1 minute 21.4 the time that he set, but with a 1.8 second lead now over Joey Tebbin and Kenny Duval for the time being out of the picture. This is working out perfectly for him.
Yeah, yes it is. He's about, looks like he's trying to stretch us to 2 seconds. If I was in Nick's place, I think what I would want to do here is make that gap right at 2 seconds and just manage it from there. That's a good gap to manage. They're outside of your draft. And if you make a little mistake, maybe you can open it back up. So I tend to want to keep about a 2.5 second gap if I can hold it. But that's Joey Tebbin back there. Joey's not going to let that sit. He's off to the races. I think he wants to close this up, and he's got it down to about 1.5 seconds now. We were out to almost 2. So Joey doing a nice job on the last third of this racetrack.
Does seem to be very strong here in the final sector. Sticks middle of the road and then swings it out wide just a little bit. Taking all of the track on entry is not essential coming into the penultimate turn here at Barber Motorsports Park, at least in my experience. In terms of lap time, well, Tebbin, the fastest car on track that time around, 1 minute 21.5, took 0.3 out of McLaughlin on that previous lap. It's also helped him in his battle with Eric Luke. Luke matched him on the last lap, but another 0.3 behind. Got to say, though, on Eric Luke's return to the series, this is pretty much the perfect result that Cloud Valve Racing could expect. I think they would like Eric Luke to be ahead of Joey Tebbin, but at the same time, 2 cars on the podium works out well for that team.
Yeah, it's always nice when you're thinking about your team standings as well. Sometimes racers get out there, and if they're not used to racing in a team situation, they forget, well, that guy's working with me. We can work together. I don't think we're going to have an issue like that here. These are all wonderfully seasoned racers. They get what's going on here. So we watch Hoskins and Christelli. That gap is closing up very nicely for the battle for P10. Hoskins is trying to fend off Christelli as best he can. Looked like he went a little bit wide coming out of Museum as they get up onto that back middle sort of or upper level stretch. But now comes the hard part. This is the most difficult part of the track, in my opinion.
In my opinion as well, I've been frustrated many a time in online races around this part of the track, and it seems that Hoskins had the edge over Christelli there, but a little bit tighter of an exit out of the final corner works to Christelli's benefit. Let's see what he can do in the first half of this lap. He's certainly aggressive on the brakes. David Christelli, one of only a few drivers that has turned up for every single round this season with one DNF to his name. That, of course, works to his benefit in terms of points because he can drop that round and keep his points total the same.
So last time we checked in on Kenny Duval, we're going to stick with these guys for a minute, or we'll go check out Kenny. But he's actually catching up here. He had kind of a gap, and I think he was back in 11th or 12th position. He's all the way back up to 9th position, and right about half a second off this pack we were checking out before. Kenny is ready to work his way back through here and doing a nice job. And in the meantime, while I've distracted our director, it looks like David Christelli got around Brian Hoskins.
Yeah, looks like it. Christelli now up into 10th place, and it looked like that might have happened at the museum corner or thereabouts. So very good stuff there for David Christelli. We'll check it out on the replay, see how he ended up getting by. So through the first sector of the lap, it looked like Christelli got a slightly better run. Christelli is obviously very strong in this first part of the track, rounding up Brian Hoskins through the hairpin and a much tighter exit. And that can work to your favor out of Charlotte's Web. Hoskins, let's see what he does here coming into museum turn. Was there a mistake? He was a bit tight on entry and not quite up to speed through the turn, and runs very wide off the exit, catches the grass.
Yep, that was a surprise there, I think all the way around, but just tucks right back in nicely and holds on to it. Doesn't have any issue, nothing got bent, so I think he might try to bring this back to him, but I think the biggest thing for him right now, get back into a calm place, focus forward, and get back into the race.
Yeah, I would say so too. We've had our first pit stop of the race, by the way. Owen McLaughlin has come in with an 8.4 second stop time, and that's pretty much what we can expect from the Ferraris here with that short stop for fuel. So McLaughlin down into 19th, as that's a big problem for Kenny Duval. Once again, big damage on the front of that car. He was doing such a great job working his way up. And he came up on that very close battle between Duhamel, Peterson, and Wildridge. Does something go very wrong from here? Well, he got by Wildridge, catches the grass. And is this similar to what happened? No, actually. Oh, it's a corner later. Big oversteer there. The track goes through a dip there, and you can lose the rear end quite easily.
That's kind of surprising for that to happen there, but you can see there as he comes up onto that high stretch that he's overdriving a little bit and then somehow gets way too much traction on that inside right front tire. Not sure how that happened. That is really unusual for the car to react that way.
Yeah, maybe a bit too aggressive of a turn in, and the rear end, I think, was lost even before he touched the curb. Very unfortunate, too, that he caught the end of the tyre barrier, so that's resulted in a full-on hit to the front end. He's decided to throw up the white flag a little bit and go for his pit stop. Just try and work on getting to the finish at this stage. Paul Wildridge has also jumped into the pits as well with an 11-second stop time, but his car, crucially, is still clean, and he's come out, has Wildridge, just ahead of Eric Evans and Jack Clark, the two drivers that did not take part in the qualifying session. More stuff happening in the pits as well, as Baron Hilton is in the lane. He's carrying some damage there. I think that might have been a toe that we saw there for Hilton, and that's the reason why.
Ooh, that's going to leave a mark too. Look at that wheel. He was trying to drive it out of there. Wasn't going to happen. As we watch him comes up over, again, just a little heavy on the curb. Now that grass you see on the left side right there, in real life, that's also paved. So, it's an early turn in. Early turn into turn, I think that's going to be 11 in our current numbering of the turns.
It's a big shame there for Baron Hilton, who we usually see in the oval racing here at the Precision Racing League. Well, back up to the front. Things are working out brilliantly for Nick McLaughlin. He has achieved that 2-second gap, but for how long? Because once again, Joey Tebbin is much stronger here in the final sector of the lap. Have a look at those times. 1 minute 22.1 for McLaughlin, 21.7 for Tebbin. This race is still on, I think. If there's a small mistake for McLaughlin, Tebbin could be right there to take the win.
He is close enough to pounce on it, but I get the feeling Nick is kind of holding back a little bit, maybe driving at 98% instead of 99.9. So, you know, it's pretty close. But I like seeing Joey up here. I think he's doing a nice job sitting up there and just keeping enough pressure on Nick, because so the way Joey Tebbin is driving here, he's got a really strong sector in that last portion. And I think that might be getting into Nick's head. And getting in there and being present is what could allow him to make him make a mistake. And that's how he's going to get around. I think that's going to be what's going to be the tipping point for Joey Tebbin to get out in front.
Well, 2 more drivers on the pits, David Boucher and Jack Clark. And, oh dear, overshot his pit box. That's going to cost him at least a second.
Yeah, I hate it when I do that. In real life, it's a little easier. When you're coming in, you can see what's going on. You have a little better depth perception, even with people who are in VR. I race in VR when I'm on the sim, and even in VR, it's possible to overrun it. Real life, I don't think I've ever overrun it, though, because you just feel it. You got to feel for the brakes. There's a tactile portion that you just don't get in the sim racing. So, unfortunately, I think it happens a little more often in sim.
Yeah, I'd agree with that assessment. Well, either way, Boucher comes out in 17th place. That's where he started. And it'll be interesting to see whether or not he can end up gaining on where he was before with that mistake coming into the lane. Looks like Donald Olsen is coming in for his stop as well in the 413 car from 11th place. And Olsen was fighting a little bit further up. Let's see what kind of stop he can make. Fastest so far, that 8.4 second time from Owen McLaughlin, but that was quite early, so McLaughlin might be borderline on fuel. 10.7 seconds there for Donald Olsen. I think that's more within the realms of what we'd expect.
Yeah, I feel like that one for McLaughlin was a little under-fueled. Maybe he's hoping to catch up a little bit and do some lift and coast, but with where he is right now, he is actually right up on Eric Evans' tail. They are only about half a second apart. So check these guys out here. This is a good race. Owen and Eric. So Owen's trying to just nip away at it, but sitting right around that half a second gap as they work their way around the track one more time. Nice exit, though. Very nice exit. That's going to let him close it up.
Meanwhile, Joey Tebbin brings it in from second place. Oh, yeah, looks like he did. And that's going to be the move done for Owen McLaughlin. But this is crucial here for Joseph Tebbin. If he can execute this pit stop well, and looks like he does reasonably, 11.4 seconds. Let's see how Nick McLaughlin responds to that. But car number 9, Paul Wildridge, working his way around as well. And man, Joey is still dealing with those tech issues. This is, every time I see that happen, I just have my fingers crossed for the driver, because I've been in that situation before where, you know, your latency bar goes red and everyone disappears off the track, and you certainly have your confidence diminished as a result of that. You have, you know, it playing on the back of your mind, can I keep this together? Will my internet be with me?
And one thing I'd like to see from iRacing is not just the latency, but also the jitter. And that's more of what causes that type of thing, is when those packets are arriving at the centralized servers, just kind of with an odd variance. It's expected to come at a certain interval. When it falls too quickly and then too slowly and then back too quickly again, you get what's called jitter. and the servers go, I don't know what's going on, so they make you disappear. And unfortunately, I think that is what's happening with Joey right now.
Well, Matthias Aranguren brings it into the lane, and it looks like Mark Feil is going to follow him in. What kind of stop can we expect from Aranguren? It's 11.6 seconds, the stop for him, and that is pretty much on par with Jack Clark for the slowest pit stop we've seen so far. There are little variances in pit stop time, depending on how aggressive you are into the box, etc., etc. Doesn't look like Aranguren has gotten much up to pace, though, coming out of the lane. That's interesting to see.
Yeah, one of the big considerations is not just your time stopped, it's your cone-to-cone time. Now, your time stopped, ooh, going a little wide there, going very slow, something wrong, and we have contact.
Wildridge.
Oh. That's going to be
What is going on with Aranguren?
I wonder if he had some kind of mechanical error with his wheel, or that was really weird. Let's take a look back here with the GSRC replay. Comes up over turn 4. This is going to be Paul Wildridge coming in. Hits the brakes right about that 2 marker, comes around, is looking ahead. Oh, gets a little bit, comes out wide, and boom. Yeah, that's exactly where he wanted to be. I think Aranguren was trying to be out of the way, realized that something was going wonky. But interestingly, that's the exact same place I, in an ST car, did a very similar thing, although not stalled, to a GS car one day when we were racing here. So it is a part of the track with multiple exits. There are a bunch of different ways you can go through there. I generally like to take a little bit tighter line coming out. So, yeah, I don't know what was going there with Aranguren.
Well, he's up to speed now, albeit with a crumpled front end. He's got Owen McLaughlin behind him. Wildridge is going to be facing up against Mark Feil pretty soon. Oh, this battle's looking interesting here as Aranguren tries his best to preserve that position. Looks like McLaughlin has backed off a little bit. I think he's aware that Aranguren has been having those issues as Mark Feil then makes his way past Paul Wildridge, trying to work his way up the field, up 2 places from where he started now, and currently in a faux Golf livery sandwich.
Yeah, I love the Golf livery personally. I think that's one of my favorite of all time. That one, the Martini livery, they're just such classic liveries, and every time I see them, it just I smile just a little bit. Even if I'm trying to suppress it, I can't help it. It comes through.
Well, these 2 battles of 2 working their way through, and just behind you see lurking Kenny Duval, who has had a lot of dramas this race, not quite capitalizing on his great qualifying pace. But certainly with these guys battling as hard as they are, it's going to offer Duval a much better run potentially. I also noticed that Duval passed Aranguren, who's come into the pits for a 2nd time. So obviously those issues are not quite done there for Matthias Aranguren, and you see there's even more damage on his car now, some damage to the front left. I'm wondering if that was a slight overshoot of the pit entry and collecting the wall.
Yeah, reasonable guess there. It is possible to, lose a mirror, as our leader is in the pit lane. Nick has made his way down to the pit lane. We're going to see how he does. So far, about 10 seconds, 9 seconds here in the pit lane. We're seeing on average probably low 30s, 32, 33 seconds for total time. But that really is dependent on this stationary time. So as he takes on his fuel here, 5 seconds, 6, we're going to see him probably take about 9. Nope, 8. Yep, almost 9 seconds, 8.5 seconds there. His pit time, 31.7. That is quick.
That indeed is. The fastest cone-to-cone time we've seen is from Mark Feil, just under 31 seconds, and coming out just behind Joey Tebbin is Eric Luke. Remember that Tebbin's cone-to-cone time was 34.3 seconds. Luke was 2 seconds faster through the lane than him, so he's gained back some of that time and can renew his attack. Could make it a 1-2 for Cloud Valve Racing.
Yeah, Joey coming off the corner there out of Charlotte's Web, working his way down towards the museum turn. They go a slight brake. You want to catch that inside curb, and you want to jump that one heavy into the brakes. Hold the car right and put down the power just so you touch this outside curbing right there. Nicely done from Luke. Very well done. Now this is tricky. You can catch an incident point on the exit right there on the inside curbing. So you always have to be careful as you're going through there. And now here we're coming up into that turn 12, up over the rise, back down into what I like to call the scoop. And then here you're going to hold it about mid-track and get all the way back over to the right side. Joey Tebbing and Luke, both of them going a little bit wide there as they go through the final corner and power down the front straight.
So 8.5 minutes to go now. This is now how the race will work out into the final stages as every driver has come in for their pit stop. So now it's all about what happens on the track. Let's see what Eric Luke can do here on his first proper lap out of the pits. Tebbin was the fastest car on track last time round, still in the mid to high 1 minute 21s. It's been nice and consistent from Joey Tebbin with a bit of a tight exit out of Charlotte's Web, but that's okay. There's plenty of tarmac there on the exit, and it's not always the fastest to use all of the track on the exit there.
Yeah, there's a discussion that people have. I think what happens, people come here for the Porsche driving school, or they go for a track day, and their instructor tells them how to come out of there, and they are determined that that is the one way to do it. Honestly, out of Charlotte's Web, I can think of probably 3 really good, maybe 4 actually, really good exit lines to take, and it all depends on what you're trying to do. Joey Tebbin, taking it a little bit tight there, gave himself a shorter line to the next corner and kept the trailing car of Eric Luke here out of a good possibility to pick up stuff on draft. So that's the idea, and that's the logic behind what we saw Tebbin doing right there. Oh, a little wide.
Yeah, a little wide in turn 2 and 3, but it's not entirely the worst thing there. It's a double apex long right-hander, so going wide in the middle of the corner can sometimes work to your benefit again with that straighter exit. But Eric Luke is really rounding up Joey Tebbin now as they come out of Charlotte's Web again. This time Tebbin takes a bit of a wider exit, and it looks like that has actually worked to his benefit there. The gap remains at about 0.8 of a second between them. They've got to be careful over these curbs. It's such a challenging corner there into the museum turn. That downhill chicane definitely catching a few drivers out today already.
Yeah, indeed it is. Now that's opening up a little bit, and I'd like to go back in the field a little bit and take a look at our Gulf sandwich again. Those guys are really starting to get tight racing going on now. We've got Brian Hoskins leading the way with Owen McLaughlin, Mark File, and Kenny Duval, all under a second from each other. This little battle is about to get really hot. We're just under 6 minutes left in this race. So things are going to get pretty exciting here in any minute as these guys start making that real move. And then, the leader of the pack just went pretty wide. Wow, you do not want to hit the grass out there.
Yeah, even wider went Mark File. He was completely off the track, and now it's bringing him into a battle with his teammate Kenny Duval. This battling might not work to their benefit. It could allow Hoskins and McLaughlin to get away. Remember that Duval is carrying a great deal of damage from his 2 incidents so far. Rounding him up through turns 2 and 3. What will the exit be like for our second place starter? Doesn't look like there's going to be much of an opportunity to get up the inside at Charlotte's Web. The straights here at Barber, they're not quite long enough to really take advantage of the draft.
Yeah, and I got to give a quick prop to our director, Joe Peak, for that beautiful shot that he got overhead from the blimp as all that was going on. You really do get to see what I was talking about when we were discussing the track. Oh my. Oh, you get a really good chance to see when you're not about to have a Ferrari run you up the backside there. Exactly how dangerous it can get on the outside sweep as you're coming through turn 12. But I think Kenny's looking to make up a couple more spots in the remaining 4 minutes.
Yeah, well, hopefully he doesn't go off the track doing it. This battle's still quite close, this 4-car fight here for 8th place, but just up ahead of them in 7th place, David Christelli has gained the most positions out of anyone. He is up 7 spots now, and it's been a fantastic drive, I have to say, from Christelli. I think he's one of the more underrated drivers in this Ferrari field.
Yeah, currently running 7th, up 7 positions from 14th. He's kind of all by himself. He's got 2.5 seconds behind him and 5 seconds in front of him. Not a bad place to be, and it's just a good kind of collection of points. And if they had a hard charger award or a hard charger extra point, that wouldn't be a bad thing. I'd kind of like to have that extra point there if they made it available.
Indeed. Well, either way, the battle for second is certainly showing no signs of slowing down. Eric Luke trying to round up Joey Tebbin here. Tebbin was a little bit slower on the last lap. Let's see what the times are like as they come across the line, which does not exist in a physical form on this track. It's rolling starts here at Barber Motorsports Park in pretty much every series, so the start line really is only the transponder. That's a problem for someone just up ahead of them. Who is that?
I was thinking it might have been Nick McLaughlin, but it was not.
Eric Evans.
Yeah, Eric Evans. Now Joey covering the inside there. Good defense. As we got another pass going down into that was Evans. Okay, there we go. Woo! Getting a little exciting back there. Oh, Joey and Luke back and forth. Or that might have been Joey blinking out again. His internet connection. Joey, we got to get you better internet connection. Although I did see on a previous lap, it looked like Eric Luke also had a little bit of blinking problem going on.
Well, let's see how this works out between our 2 final spots on the podium with under 2 minutes left in the race. Oh, Eric Luke, he's pushing so hard there over the top of the hill. They're going to be coming up on another little bit of lap traffic here in the form of David Boucher, who's down in 15th place right now on his own. There's Nick McLaughlin crossing the line to begin the penultimate lap here with 1 minute and 40 left on the clock. It's all down here to how Joey Tebbin can stay ahead of Eric Luke. He runs a little bit wide on the entry into turns 2 and 3. Luke, though, picks up a little bit of the curb and the grass, which costs him on the exit.
Yeah, I think we need to be mindful of how Eric Luke is taking that penultimate corner. He has a much better positioning of the car. Joey Tebbin is getting a little bit too far out. He's coming way past the middle of the track. Well, way past. A couple of feet, maybe about a meter outside of that center of the track line, where Eric Luke is hugging right up on the right side and is able to get the power down. That's how he was able to close up this gap. The gap right now is about 0.3 of a second. It was tighter than that before, and he's just had to back off a little bit to be able to see.
Oh, there's been a bit of a change here. Kenny Duval getting up past Owen McLaughlin and Mark Feil, and now chasing down Brian Hoskins. Duval trying to get back into the top 8 here after what has been a very difficult race for him. He'll probably be kicking himself for not taking advantage of his qualifying pace as the last lap begins for Nick McLaughlin. It is white flag, and this is going to be the last chance that Eric Luke has to get past Joey Tebbin and make it a 1-2 for Clow Valve Racing. Tebbin once again very wide on entry, but have a look at how it benefits him on the exit. Gets a straighter line out and a little bit of extra momentum. Eric Luke, oh, he stays middle of the road, trying to size up a move, try to psych out Joey Tebbin. Tebbin goes preemptively defensive on the way into Charlotte's Web, costs him just a little there in terms of apex speed. What's going to happen down at the museum turn? This, oh man, I've been loving watching this battle. It's so hard to pass here at Barber, but if you can make the move and make it stick, it is absolutely spectacular. Let's see how they do through the fast chicane then. It's crucial not to be too aggressive over these curbs. You can't afford to destabilize your car. Now it just comes down to the final sector where we've seen Joey Tebben be strong, but in those last couple of corners, it has been Eric Luke with the advantage. And have a look at how he picks up the throttle. It doesn't look like he's going to be far up enough to make the move. Just up ahead, last corner for Nick McLaughlin. It is going to be yet another win here for the number 62. Celebrating as he crosses the line. A fantastic drive from McLaughlin. Once again, a lights to flag victory, and Joey Tebben holds off Eric Luke for second place.
Yeah, and a nice job from Eric trying to make that pass. But the interesting thing is I think Joey noticed. Oh, and we've got it off. We've got Sean Duhamel off. That looks like a lot of damage on his car on that right front.
He's going to lose a position to Christelli, who gets 6th place. Something really odd happened to him in the last corner. Looked like he just went straight on into the final turn. We'll get a replay of that and check out what happened to Sean Duhamel. Oh, that might be why. Goodness gracious. Lapped car having big issues there, and Duhamel losing a lot of time through the grass. Gets back onto the track. What happens to him at the final corner? Would that have messed up his suspension?
Oh yeah, look at that. But the fun thing though is I think from you and me both, we've got some really good sounds for the best of at the end of the season that we'll just do a whole little thing on the best kind of sounds that we get out of us.
Yeah, I would say so. Well, Joey Tebben congratulating Nick McLaughlin there on a fantastic drive, and it's yet another podium here for Tebben in the Precision Racing League. He spent a long time away from it, but he is certainly showing that he has the pace. So McLaughlin wins by 5 seconds over Joey Tebben. Eric Luke, Dave Peterson, and Eric Dubé round out the top 5. Late position gain for David Christelli. He is in 6th from 14th, 8 places up, with Sean Duhamel losing 1 place from where he started as a result of that late incident. Brian Hoskins finishes in 8th, and then it's Mark Feil and Owen McLaughlin who round out the top 10.
In P11, Paul Waldridge putting on a nice show for us. This whole little group here in the middle, Donald Olson, Spencer Simkovich, early issues, recovers well to hold on to 13th position. That's 3 positions up from where he started. Now 1 lap down. Unfortunately, Kenny Duvall, not his day, starting off beautifully and just having some trouble there. David Boucher, Eric Evans in 16th, Matthias Arangoa in 17th, Jack Clark also 1 lap down, but 16 laps back early on. Big problems with Baron Hilton.
Yeah, our sole retirement from the race tonight. Well, now we can get to our driver interviews. Our winner is not here at the moment, but I get the feeling we'll be speaking to one of our podium getters, and it's going to be 2nd place, Joey Tebben. Welcome, Joey. Fantastic result for you in 2nd place. You did say to us in Discord that early stop didn't work out for you, though.
Yeah, the early stop didn't work out at all. I thought that our winner, Nick, would have run into more traffic because he was running into traffic when I chose to come in. But unfortunately, he cleared them all. And when I came in, I just lost basically all the time I would have gained. And then just the extra fuel I took. Also, I'm bad at speaking words. I've had a cold for the last 3 days. So if my answers are slightly more incoherent than usual, that's probably why. But anyway, it was a good race. I'm happy to finish 2nd. It's better than where I started. And it was pretty good.
Yeah, certainly. It was all about consistency here at Barber Motorsports Park. Certainly, it's difficult to keep up that consistency around a track that is so tight with so many turns that flow directly into each other.
Absolutely. It's almost, I would compare it to Knock Hill, which is actually the closest track I've raced this Ferrari at, which is kind of a weird combination, but it's almost like a one groove road course. You make one mistake and it gets you offline for basically the entire lap. And that's what, when I was defending against Eric, I couldn't make any mistakes. I still made a couple, but he did as well. So it kind of evened out. But this track loves to punish mistakes. And for once, I didn't make a lot of them.
Well, it certainly worked out for you with another podium in the Ferrari Challenge. Who do you have to thank for it?
Well, unfortunately, I'm racing as an independent this season. I'm not with the usual Atomic Racing crew who will be racing in 5 minutes here. So I'll thank them anyway. I'll thank Nick and Eric for putting on a good race. I'll thank the color highlighter yellow for powering my Ferrari to victory. And That's about it. And thanks to George Barber as well.
Yes, we do have to thank George Barber, because without him, this track would not be a thing. That's Joey Tebben, second place finisher here tonight. Next up, we've got the 709 of Eric Luke on his return to the series, another podium. Michael's going to chat to him about that.
Well, Eric, we just heard about the thanks for the yellow highlighter. Was it kind of burning in your retinas while you were chasing them down? Is that what was going on there?
It's very interesting. I made a really huge mistake going through the corkscrew and got a slowdown penalty. And I was doing everything I could to put pressure on Joey. And he was hanging in there during the first half of the race. And then I got that slowdown penalty for cutting the track. And he kind of got away from me. I had a fantastic pit stop, and he came out just in front of me after the pits. He did make a couple errors. I did make a couple errors. And Barber is one of those tracks where I could have sent it up the inside a couple times on a couple of his mistakes. But I was thinking, let's not risk it. I'm on the podium. I wasn't expecting to be on the podium. Let's just bring it home and not make a mistake and take both of us out. So that's pretty much how the race went for me.
So I got to ask you, are you talking about turn 2? Because as I was watching that, I'm like, oh, he's going. And then you didn't go. What happened? I'm like, that's the spot. He's leaving you so much space.
Yeah, there was a lot of space there. But my fear is if I stuck it up the inside, and as soon as I got on the throttle, it was going to push me wide, and I didn't want to inadvertently push him off the track either. So the turn 2, and then going into the final set of right-handers, he kind of went off track at one point in time, and instead of keeping the throttle pinned and making the turn, I kind of backed off and gave him the room to come back in because I wasn't exactly sure what was going to happen. So, like I said, I didn't want to ruin either of our nights.
So, towards the end of the race, you had a significantly better attack going through the penultimate corner, and it looked like you were going to get him, and it just didn't work out for you. Was that kind of your plan to try to make that pass going towards turn 1 out of the final corner?
It was. If I couldn't get him into the hairpin, down by the spider. I don't know the names of the corners. Bad, Eric.
That would be Charlotte's Web.
Charlotte's Web. If I couldn't get him going into Charlotte's Web, I was going to attempt to stick it up on the inside, going around the long sweeping right-hander before the final corners. But he defended very well and pretty much blocked my effort. So he ran a fantastic race. My hat's off to him. He did really, really well.
Well, you kept it interesting, and the two of you got a lot of coverage because all that beautiful racing you were putting on. Who do you have to thank for your podium today, though?
Absolutely. I'd like to thank Cloud Valve, main title sponsor. Big thanks to them, Apex Button Box, and of course, as always, GSRC. You guys put on a great show, and I appreciate everything you guys do.
Well, thank you, Eric. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. But now we're going to go talk to our winner today. And it looks like Reese has got Nick in the booth ready to have a chat.
Win number 5, pole number 6 for Nick McLaughlin this season. Excellent comeback after Road America, Nick.
Gentlemen, good to hear you. Thank you. It was a fun one today. I wasn't actually sure if I was going to get here, but glad I did, and worked out well.
That it did. It did seem that you had the edge in terms of pace. Were you concerned about Kenny Duval early on? Because he certainly showed that he had qualifying pace. Ultimately, it didn't work out for him, but he was certainly pressuring you early on.
Yeah, absolutely. He was quick all through practice. Kenny knows this track inside and out, and he was quick around here today. Obviously, unfortunate incidents from him kind of gave me some breathing room, but no, I was definitely worried with him first couple laps.
Well, either way, comes out to yet another victory for you, but with Alec Bergstrom missing this round, he's going to now drop 0 points. So coming into these final 2 rounds, the pressure's going to be on there to take the title.
Yeah, it's a definitely a critical one for him to miss, but that drop round, he's still going to get a good handful of points out of this one. It's close as the top, closest it's ever been, and 2 rounds, it's anyone's game still.
that it is. Well, who do you have to thank for your victory tonight, Nick?
I gotta give Eric Luke, my teammate, a shout out. Good to have him back racing with us on a big podium. Congrats to Hib and Tebben for the rounding it out. I gotta thank the missus for putting up with my racing on a on a big Leafs night where I could be watching some hockey. So, and yeah, thanks to you guys for the broadcast and PRL for the series, of course.
Thanks very much for joining us, Nick McLaughlin, race winner here tonight at Barber Motorsports Park. Well, we're going to step aside very briefly here on the Global Sim Racing channel. The racing action is not going to stop. We've got the PRL Formula 3 series coming up very shortly.
Hey there, I'm Nicholas Dubois, co-founder of Advanced Sim Racing. We are a Canadian company. So what we did here today is for a real petrol head. He's really passionate about cars, as you can see behind me. We did a turnkey solution for him based on his needs. We try to gather as much information as we can on our client. And like we did today, we install a D-box system. We install ultra-wide cube control steering wheel. We try to provide the best quality for your budget. So let's say if you want a budget of 10 grand, we're gonna give you something that's the best for 10 grand. If you want 20 grand, then we always try to stay within your boundaries. We do try to make it as easy as possible. So the client, once we install everything, it's pretty much gonna be a turnkey. So he's gonna press start on his computer, and right after, we'll try to explain everything, how it goes, how it works, and then he's ready to go. Our aluminum is from USA, treated in Canada, cut in Canada. So we do sand all our aluminum piece just to make sure the powder coat sticks to it. And that's one of the reasons why we use powder coat, is to make sure you have the best aluminum finish in the industry. And our quality is beyond what you can get with any other competitors right now. We are really, really passionate about all the gear, all the cockpits, all the sim hardware, and that's why we want to create something that's really gonna reflect our passion into our product. Come visit us at advancedsimracing.com. You can always reach us if you have any questions. You can call us, you can text us, you can go on Facebook, like our page, ask us questions over there, and we'll make sure to answer every questions there is. We are very passionate about what we do, and we try to make it as easier for you to go into the sim racing world, because there's a lot of gear, there's a lot of options, but let us guide you through your process, and let's hope you'll be an Advanced Sim Racing customer.
Well, we move to open wheel action in Thursday nights at the Precision Racing League. We're racing at the Hockenheim Ring in the Formula 3s, a track that is very familiar territory to these cars. Let's check it out with the track guide.
Welcome to Hockenheim. Located just an hour away from the border of France, this is a German track whose nature has changed drastically over its history. Once an eye-watering blast through long straights in the forest, it has since been truncated to its current format. With 6 different layouts ranging between 2.5 and 4.5 kilometers, containing 13 to 16 turns, depending on which you choose, it's got something for just about every level of racing. This means it would fit everything from club cars up to Formula 1. And that's perhaps what it's most well known for. One of the regular hosts for the German Grand Prix, it has been the scene of multiple dramatic moments, some triumphant, some tragic. Its redesign in the early 2000s gave it a few well-placed overtaking spots. The Parabolica entrance can create a good sneak attack, but even if you don't get it done there, the huge run towards the tight and slow Spitz curve is the place most well known for overtakes. If neither of those work, on rare occasions, Mercedes Corner can see drivers manage to pass one another. While the straights certainly aren't as long as the old version, it still requires a good deal of top speed to be competitive. But driver beware. Throttle control can often make or break your lap on the latter half of the circuit. All in all, German race fans can be assured to find great action no matter your tastes in racing at this fantastic venue.
Well, as the track guide said, Hockenheim has gone through plenty of changes over the years, Michael, particularly the big change in 2002, which produced the current Grand Prix layout we're racing at tonight. And it's been a bit polarizing over the years. Some have said that it's ruined Hockenheim, but honestly, I think this layout is one of the best for racing.
I do too. So, and not just for racing, but also training. So the things that go on at this track, it's crazy. You've got regular old track days, you've got parade laps, you have police training, you have, like I said, the track days, there's Formula One here. You've got the full gamut of driving available to you on this track. Now, one of the interesting things I find about this track is the way you have to set up the car. It's a little bit, well, the way I set up the car, I'd say it's a little bit interesting. I like to get a little more tail happy on this, which becomes very crazy when you're going into the Mercedes arena or trying to go through Mobile 1 to get up to the Zaxkurve. But if you do it just right and you can maintain it, you've got great opportunity coming off the corners, like when you're going through Parabolica down into the Spitzkehre. You get the car rotated so much faster that you can get up into Mercedes and probably make a good passing opportunity, not just at Spitzkehre, but also at the Mercedes arena.
And of course, they've got that very twisty final sector. As the drivers are in qualifying at the moment, we'll check out the championship standings in the pro class. Michael Diaz is the one leading the way by 18 points over Justin Negrete. It's consistency that has been the name of the game in this championship. Alex Fournier, their former series champion, has had a little bit of a patchy season, unfortunately, down in 4th place, but only 1 point between himself and Michael Overbay. Gotta say, it's there's potential for some very big changes here tonight in terms of those standings, considering how competitive qualifying is. How are things looking in the AM driver standings, Michael?
Well, Greg Doucette is at the top of the list, only 11 points up on Matthew Gunderson. Now Brad Miller coming into 3rd position there. Richard Swindells doing a really nice job holding on to P4. He even has a DNF this season, so we'll see how this works through the rest of the season. Jonathan Almanar holding out our top 5, about 23 points back, and it gets really tight from there as you see 27, 31, and 31 getting back to Alexander in P8 with Vargas and Carter just ahead of him. So it's going to be an interesting battle to watch how people come through here. How about the teams?
Well, Atomic Racing Electron ahead of TQ Engineering by 10 points, but it's only another 4 points back to Atomic Racing Proton. So the teams are going to be bringing their A game here to Hockenheim, and hopefully there's going to be some big changes there in terms of entertainment value for us and everyone watching the broadcast around the world. Well, as we mentioned, drivers in qualifying, there's only a minute to go in this qualifying session, and currently it is Alex Fournier on pole position as we are getting ready for a 25-lap race tonight. Open setups with a drive-through penalty at 13 incidents and disqualification at 17. Pretty much the same as in the Ferrari. The big difference is it's going to be around a 40-minute race, and it's open setups.
Yeah, the open setups is a big thing, as I was talking about just a minute ago. How you set up the car to be comfortable for you and to give you what you need to make those laps. So as we watch the various drivers work their way around the track, who's going for lower downforce, who's going for higher downforce. You can get away with doing, I won't say high downforce, but more medium. That would have been a good spot for a little more downforce as we watch Carballo work his way through that corner. But, you know, he's in P2. Maybe he's just out there having some fun. He's only about a quarter of a tenth off of the leader right now.
And taking the opportunity in the dying moments of the session to practice the pit lane entry, which is very difficult here at Hockenheim. You have to slow down through the penultimate corner if you want to actually make that pit entry. Richard Swindells coming up to the end of one of his final qualifying laps. You can use so much of that curb on the exit, but doesn't look like it's going to be an improvement there for Mr. Swindells. What about Manuel Vargas, who was In the AM class, it's going to be a 32.3, a little bit slower than the fastest time that he set. There's plenty of drivers still out there on their final qualifying laps. James Carter on cams with us tonight and really working it through the final couple of corners. Hello, James.
Well, again, James.
Oh, dear. Well, he's going to remain in 26 for the time being. Overall, Mr. Gunderson through the final couple of corners now. Can he improve on a 1 minute 31.7 as the checkered flag continues to fly, extending the exit of the corner as much as possible? And oh my goodness, he sets pretty much the exact same time. Oh, that would be frustrating.
I couldn't believe what I saw. That's cool. That's not frustrating. That's cool. Chablis takes the fastest lap. Wow,
Oh my
what
God.
a time.
Okay, that's huge. Big development at the end of the session. Max Chablis stealing pole position from Alex Fournier. What can Michael Diaz, our championship leader, do here coming through the final couple of corners? 1 minute 30.506. He's going to have to gain a few tenths, but it's not going to happen. He's going to bring it into the lane. Oh, wow. That was a dramatic end to the qualifying session there. Chablis took us all by surprise. Well, now, in terms of the grid, this is going to be incredibly close. I'm amazed to see how tight the gaps are, especially in the top 5. This is going to be a very fun race with Max Chablis starting on pole, a tenth ahead of Alex Fournier. Moises Caraballo starts alongside Michael Coffray on the second row, with Diaz and Overbay sharing row 3. Justin Negrete and Juan Coffray in 7th and 8th. Then it's Robert Ridgway and Stephen Ritters rounding out our top 10.
And looking at row number 6 in P11, it is De Ruel along with Barry sitting in P12. Hoyen Lung 13th. Rodriguez is going to be 14th. Raymond Day 15th. Greg Doucette 16th. Daly, Caranges, Swindells, and Almanar filling out our top 20.
Takeshi Kita having qualifying performance that he will probably be able to capitalize on and sneak his way into the top 10 from 21st. Gunderson alongside him with Manuel Vargas and Colin Heffernan on row 12. Michael Blaze and James Carter will line up on row 13. Then it's Tyler Gore, Neil Alexander, Matt Dinsmore, and Barry Cochrane, 29th and 30th. Final spot on the grid is taken by Andres Echevarria, who did not set a time in qualifying. Well, a minute to go here on the starting grid. And this is going to be a difficult start to execute for these drivers. It's a reasonably long run to turn 1, but the first turn here at Hockenheim is quite open.
Yeah, turn 2 is where it really starts to back up, which is called Einfahrt, or let me translate it to English. It's the entrance to Parabolica is what they call it. So when you get up into there, you really have to slow the car down. You want to start the Parabolica just before the apex of the entrance to Parabolica, and that's what really gives you that beautiful run all the way down to Spitzkau.
Couple of practice runs of the throttle from a few drivers here. They want to try and get their bite points sorted. We still have one spot on the grid left to be filled, and it looks like that driver is going to be leaving it as late as possible. Only 10 seconds remaining. There we go. This is going to be the start then for the PRL Formula 3 Series Round 8 at the Hockenheim Ring. The revs rise, and we are away. And it looks like a pretty good initial launch there from Alex Fournier. He's going to get alongside Max Chablis into turn 1. Have a look at Moises Caraballo just behind them, trying to consolidate his position. Goes off the track along with his teammate Michael Diaz, who gets the position over Michael Coffray. It looks like Max Chablis has been able to hold on to the lead. And it looks like having to go defensive versus Caraballo was Fournier, and that's worked out in his favor. Caraballo falling now behind Diaz there into 4th place. He's going to have to try and protect that position from Michael Coffray. Trying around the outside into the Spitzkehrer hairpin is going to be difficult, but you can get it done. Side by side for the lead. Max Chablis going defensive versus Alex Fournier. What will Fournier be able to do here as they put the anchors on here? Fournier gets a good exit and is able to protect 2nd place from Diaz. Back in the field, it looks like everyone's kept it reasonably clean. There's plenty of space here in the runoff areas at Hockenheim.
Yeah, Fournier doing a really nice job, doing exactly what I was talking about at the entrance to Parabolica. So that turn 2, He set that up perfectly, but not to put anything by Max Chablis, he really did a nice job on the defense there. As we watch right now, looks like Diaz is trying to get up on the inside, and now this is another one of our good passing opportunities right there, getting into the Mercedes arena. That is a fun place to kind of stick your nose up in there and maybe mess somebody up, make them run really wide, and then you get the opportunity to pass them when they've gone out on their own. And actually that was through Mobile 1, I believe.
Yes, indeed. Coming into the stadium section, which was added to this track in 1967. Hockenheim used to be a full public road track, just long straight blasts through the forest, but gradually turned into a permanent track over the years as the defense is on here for Caraballo, trying desperately to keep Michael Coffre behind him, losing a bit of time to the top three.
Yeah, these top three trying to hold it together, doing a nice job. Caraballo working his way through there. Still about 7/10 off of Diaz, but Diaz and Fournier, they are trying to hold on to Chablis. Chablis is just putting on a show right now. He's kind of trying to set out there, but they don't want to let him. They're going to probably work together to some extent, I think, in the next 23 laps or so to get back up front, but watch him start battling right there at the end. So, ooh, nice little peek there from Overbay. Overbay putting the nose out there, trying to make a little bit of, hey, I'm back here and I'd like to be up there.
Yeah, so he's working on a defense as well from Juan Coffre, so he's lost a little bit of time there to Negrete, Michael Coffre, and Moises Caraballo, but Overbay certainly has the form to back him up. Don't forget, he took the win at Mount Panorama earlier on in the season. He has what it takes to get to the top step in these races. Oh, I've just seen a problem for Richard Swindells. He's gone off the track there, going into the stadium section.
Oh, that's bad news for Richard Swindells. He's going slowly right now, too. This may be just trying to recover a little bit after getting offline as Alex Fournier takes the fastest lap of the race. Goes offline again there. Looks like Swindells trying to head into the pits as we look at the replay. Now, this is... Oh, that may have been contact there that kind of forced him outside off the track. Not a good happening. Let's take a look at this from above, if we can. Coming through, as we see, he's getting closer, coming up tighter, tighter, tighter. And when we get into this corner, this early in the race, nope. Now, no contact, so there are two possibilities there. One is it was one of those iRacing glitches that happens. The racers here, they're very good. They don't want to touch. Another thing is something really on the positive side of iRacing is they were accounting for that spoiling of the air coming off the nose of the trailing car and messing up the downforce on the rear of Swindells' car.
Yeah, well, it's always a very difficult turn, that fast right-hander as well. Very easy to get a snap in the middle of the corner. That might have been what happened to Swindells as well. Well, the battling back in the field, continuing on here with Ryan Berry now trying his best to make his way a bit further away from Greg Doucette, the AM Championship leader. The leader of the AM class currently is Ho Yin Leung, and that's going to work out very well for him. Remember, he took the AM win last time out at Virginia International Raceway. Oh, that's a big spin there, and that's going to be Berry that's gone around also. Mr. Gunderson has gone around too at a completely different part of the circuit. Oh, that's a shame there for Ryan Berry. We'll get a replay of what happened to him. Looks like he did this all on his own in the final corner. And oh yeah, just getting on the throttle a little too hard, car unstable, and around he went out of the final corner. Big shame for him. What happened to Gunderson? Oh,
yeah.
What on earth?
I got to see that again. I don't know exactly what happened there. Wow.
Well, Gunderson picks up the curb.
Yeah, so yeah, that's an odd little spin. So this is sort of what I was saying with letting the car be a little twitchy, so it rotates better there. Was that contact?
Dinsmore.
That's Dinsmore making wow, that's interesting. Let's watch as they come around here, coming up into looks like Mobile 1. Oh, there it is. Yeah, got a little wiggly in there on that lead car, and then just tried to drive over his wheel.
And while we were on the replay, there was some huge changes. Max Chablis having a huge issue. He's gone all the way down the field to 21st. There's actually been a couple of drivers that have had big issues there. And oh no, Chablis very slow on the way through the stadium section. There's been a very big development there. Fournier took the lead from him a little earlier on, but man, this is a shame for Chablis. He's got huge damage. Have a look at that. Actually, his right rear is completely out of whack. So what happened to him here? Well, Diaz managed to get past him on the way into the hairpin, and oh goodness, a bit of contact there and a huge incident. One of the Coffrets involved in that too.
Yeah, that's the 64 in on that one. 64 is going to be. Let's get back to the leaders real quick.
Yes, well, Alex Fournier still leading by 2.8 seconds, but Michael Diaz and Moises Caraballo, the teammates here, working their way through in second and third. It's, nearly 3 seconds the lead for Alex Fournier, so these guys are going to have to start working together. They got Juan Coffret and Justin Negrete behind them. Michael Overbay still holding on to 6th place. But what's going to happen here for Diaz and Caraballo? Caraballo has played a supporting role to Diaz quite a few times this season, particularly at Phillip Island, leading early on and then giving up the position throughout the pit cycle. What's going to happen to them here?
Yeah, it's tough being the second. You kind of define who's going to be who about a third of the way, a quarter of the way into the season. You figure out who's going to be able to take it. But, other times it runs all the way to the end because you're back and forth all the way. Now, did something happen with Ho Yin Lung? I think I saw something in the background.
Gone all the way down to 25th place. Looks like...
and he's going in the pits now to probably get a repair. I can't really see his car very well. Let's take a look at GSRC replay. Oh, yeah. Looks like we caught the tail end of that. That's not good. Here we go, watching as they come down into Spitzkehre, goes hard into the brakes, and then, somebody sneaking up the inside. Oh, just caught the wheels. There wasn't much that could happen there that was on the positive side. And, yeah, overlap wheels. Man, that's messed up.
Yeah, that was Raymond Day who tried to make the move on Ho Yin Lung at the Spitzkehre. And unfortunately, that has cost Lung the AM lead. It looks like he's out of the car as well. That might be a retirement for him. So your AM leader now is Greg Doucette, who has, through consistency, gotten that AM class lead. Something has happened to Diaz as well. He's fallen back to 4th place behind Juan Coffret.
Yeah, we almost need to do dueling broadcasts here. There's so much activity going on. We go to cover something and watch a replay, and then something equally messed up happens somewhere else. Wow, this is crazy. So now we've got, it looks like Carballo is in second, trying to hold off Coffret, who's a little over a second behind him. Michael Diaz is right behind him, only about a half a second behind him. Well, Justin in the 66 is trying to close up on that one. So here we are on board with P5, Justin McGreed. It looks like we're coming through the Parabolica here. Good speed, trying to stay right inside there. Now, right there, that's where you go into the brakes at that side road typically. Nice job holding the car in control. Good power out of the corner. This is going to be a very tightly contested grouping right here. They're all running very close to the same time. They're just waiting for somebody to make a mistake. And the way this race has gone so far, I think we're done with mistakes for today. We've had far too many so far that have been pretty major.
Yeah, I'd say so. And I can explain what happened to Diaz here as he tries to pressure Coffret just up ahead of Mr. Negrete here. Oh, so unstable over the curbs. It turns out Caraballo got up the inside of Diaz at the Spitzkehre, and Coffret tried to follow him through. So that ended up costing Coffret and Diaz a little bit of extra time. Caraballo on his own there in second place, but Alex Fournier continuing to extend his lead here. It's now up to nearly 3.5 seconds.
Yeah, now one thing I'm kind of concerned about watching everybody go through here, there are some people running probably a little bit too wide and picking up incident points. Now, it's that 17 incident point drive through that people are going to really have to start watching out for in this race, because they creep up on you very quickly on this track. It's very easy to catch an incident point. It's not quite like some of the other places. Negretti goes up the inside and we have a spin. That is not a good pass there.
No, Juan Cofre coming off third best there. We'll catch it on the replay. So Negrete tried to go for the move there on Diaz at the Spitzkehrer, but such a tight turn with such a heavy braking zone, it's very easy to mess up, and you'll see Negrete lose the car here on the inside, and he's going to go spearing right into Juan Cofre. There he is. It's already lost, and, well, Cofre doesn't know what's happening. That's right alongside him. That's in his blind spot.
Yeah, he would not have seen that. That would not have been in his mirrors. And if he's using a spotter, the spotter would not have guessed that was going to happen. So that's just an unfortunate position for Cofre to be in.
Well, that's calmed things down just a little bit in the top five. Bit more space between the cars now. Problem for Stephen Ritters, meanwhile, in the final sector, having to go tight here to try and keep himself ahead of Tyler Gore and Michael Blaze here. What on earth is going on here? It looks like Ritters having a big issue in the stadium section. These races are always full of so much activity, and believe it or not, this is one of the calmer races so far that we've had in PRL F3. These races just go off week after week.
Yeah, and this track doesn't help that much with that, because there's a lot of invitation in the way this track is designed to get people to do things like that. Now, it makes for very exciting racing, but I find it's difficult in the simulator because you don't have quite the visibility, even if you're using VR. And nice pass up the inside. Who was that? That was a beautifully timed pass. Whoop. And we have more.
A beautifully timed spin.
A beautifully timed spin. That was Michael Blaze doing his impression of a German ballet dancer.
Indeed. Looked to me like it was Max Chablis actually letting them go there. That was the pass that was made. Chablis is still carrying a huge amount of damage. His suspension is absolutely ruined. Have a look at that. The geometry is completely off on that car. How is he able to drive that thing?
Yeah, look, so on the left side of your screen there, that right rear tire, that it's not supposed, there is no steering in the rear wheels. It's not supposed to be pointed that way. I got to give Max some major props for keeping that car even close to straight and pulling even a halfway respectable lap time. I mean, his last lap was a 32, or his best lap was a 32. I think he's been going off and hasn't been able to quite get a good lap time recorded, but he's actually kind of still in it, not up in the lead like he was, but wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, goodness gracious. Well, the fighting continues further up the field. Byron Daley, who we know from previous rounds, has been a master at working his way up through the field, trying his best to line up Robert Ridgway for a pass. Daley is up 9 places, which is pretty good there. Just catches a bit too much of the sausage curb in Mercedes, though. It's very easy to do there. One of the more difficult turns to get right on this circuit. Going to have to be careful about how hard they battle, because they've got Fernando Rodriguez behind them as well, who will certainly take advantage if these guys go side by side or make contact in the wrong place.
Yeah, this is interesting here. This race has had a lot to cover, a lot of weird moves from time to time, but hey, good move by Carballo, a 30.8. He is absolutely flying out there. But listen, we got so much going on. I wanted to go take a look at something else, but that was actually a really nice pass done there.
That was Daley on Ridgeway, and Ridgeway is going to try and fight back here into the Einfahrt Parabolica. No, he's going to pull out and potentially go for the slipstream down this curved back stretch. This has continued to bring Rodriguez into this battle. Meanwhile, he is smelling blood, and he will certainly take advantage if there is a problem for either of these guys. Ridgeway in the draft. It's defensive for Byron Daley, who's going to be later on the brakes. The outside line at Spitzkehrer can be good for you, but it seems that Ridgeway not quite able to get it turned in properly, and that's brought Rodriguez right into this once again. What about Mercedes then? The slipstream is back on for Ridgeway. I think Byron Daley might be running a bit of a higher wing setting here.
Yeah, I think you're right on that, but I want to go and take a look at something else that's going on here. We've got a really good battle. Look at this. This is Negrete on Diaz. This is quite the battle happening. These guys are closer than they have been in quite a while. This race is heating up. We're about halfway through the race right now, just shy of the halfway point. But wow, Negrete is really closed it up and making some very aggressive moves as we watch them coming up to turn 1.
31.8 for Diaz, 31.7 for Negrete, 31.4 for Michael Overbay behind them. In that clear air, Overbay is working really well. These guys driving as close as they are will certainly bring Overbay into this battle for the last spot on the podium.
Yeah, now working their way through the Parabolica. This is the point where I think Negrete is going to have an opportunity. He's going to pop the nose out probably right now. Nope, holds it back in. Nope, takes it back out. I think he was expecting a little defense. He gets overlapped side by side. First one to the apex. We have a pass. That is Negrete on Diaz. Negrete up into P3. Nice job.
And he's going to have the inside line into Mercedes, but is he going to yield the position here to Michael Diaz? No, he is not. He's going to try and keep it here and parks it on the apex, prevents Diaz from getting on the throttle, so consolidates that position. Good stuff there from Negrete. Second place in the championship, and it's the championship leader that he just passed, so that's a big statement there.
Yeah, being able to put down a pass like that and then hold it is really challenging. But it was beautifully defensive driving that he did through there. Everything he did through there was legal, looked good from my vantage point. So I think that's pretty clear. And now he's starting to open it up. We've got a gap of about 7/10 between these two right now. That could be a little bit overrunning of the tires and maybe letting it come back. But remember who's back there. We've got Overbay, who is closer to Diaz than Diaz is to Negrete.
Could pick up a slipstream through the Parabolica. It's all about the exit, and it looks nice and straight from every driver in frame. We saw that Neil Alexander, who has suffered already in this race, just let them by between turns 1 and 2. So nice and clean there, staying out of the way. Not much of a change there in terms of position, but have a look at Overbay. He is really gaining a bit there in the braking zone.
Yeah, I'm thinking Overbay has made the choice to go for a little more downforce. He was closer when they went to the entrance of the Parabolica. But now, once we get into the stadium section, he is closing it up. They really gapped him big going through Parabolica. But now, look at this. He is trying to close it up. But, you know, Diaz is not one to let a pass go unturned. He's ready to give it back. And he's getting Negrete to overdrive a little bit, getting out a little bit too wide there. Now watch us take the power down. This is the last little section of the track right here. Just a touch of the brake, get the nose down, get some power around the rear end, and slide the car through. You've got a lot of, yeah, look how much he's using out there as Caraballo turns another fastest lap of the race.
He's actually making up time on Alex Fournier. The gap is down to 1.5 seconds. Remember, it was around 3 seconds earlier on. What on earth is going on for Alex Fournier? He might have made a couple of mistakes and just backed off a bit. 31.1 for him on the last lap. Yeah, he lost 4/10 on that last lap. So, wow. Either way, lap 11 as well, nearly 8/10 lost. So Fournier struggling a bit for consistency, I think. Caraballo could be in contention properly for the win here.
Yeah, he's pushing up nicely here. he's playing a little bit of a mind game by taking out a big chunk and then a little chunk and then a big chunk and then a little chunk. That's an interesting mind game because you know the driver you're closing up on is watching that gap and trying to manage it as much as he can. But the management is happening from P2 right here.
And being managed very well. Caraballo has yet to go to the top step of the podium this season, but he's been in constant contention for podiums, as has Diaz. So those Precision Racing esports cars certainly the form drivers of the field, at least in terms of points totals. Alex Fournier, one of the drivers that is really strong on one lap pace, but when it comes to race conditions, it's borderline whether or not he'll actually keep those places. One of the Precision Racing esports cars is now into the pits. Diaz, one of the first takers into the lane from the top of the field.
Yeah, he was in the middle of that three-way battle, decided to pop out of it and go ahead and take his pit stop. Looks like he's trying to vie for position on track and wants to get back out and be able to turn a little bit of hammer time as we watch him coming out of the pits right now and still holding a good position, going up into the second corner, power on and heading down. That's going to be some good news right there for Ritters, who is closing up behind him. Ritters is in need of a little help to catch back up here with that earlier incident.
We'll have a look at how much difference in straight line speed there is. That slipstream is incredibly strong for Ritters, and down into the Spitzkehrer he goes, but a very tight turn in the slowest corner on the track. Can Diaz get him back here? I think Diaz coming out with another car might end up costing him in terms of time. Ritters ending up yielding that place there. I think he knows that they're running effectively different races at the moment. Ritters has yet to come into the pits.
Yeah, and I'm having an interesting battle in my brain of which way to go here. I see some major advantages with the low downforce, and I see some major advantages with the high downforce, a little more twitchy. I honestly don't know which way I would go here. This is challenging, and you kind of need to work those practice races that these guys put on all week long and see how everybody's doing, who does best with which. Sometimes the low downforce speaks to you. Other times you need that high downforce so you can just maintain some consistency.
Yeah, I think if you're one of the drivers up the top of the field and you're able to get a good lap time down, going for the high downforce setup might be the way to go. Whereas if you're starting further back in the field, going low downforce would be a good idea, because then you can use that extra straight line speed to try and make up positions and put on a defense, keep drivers behind you in the slower parts of the track. This battle for the lead is continuing to close up. It's now down to a second under even, as Caraballo continues to take chunks of time out of Fournier.
Yeah, about 2 or 3 tenths on that last lap. Their speeds down the straight these straights pretty much equal. So I don't know if this may be Fournier trying to realize that, okay, he's got some speed, let him get a little bit closer and maybe some slide, or hey, let's make an interestingly late dive into the pit. I don't know if that one was kosher or not. That seemed like it might have been a little wide. I swear I've gotten a penalty for that exact same entry.
Well, we'll find out soon enough whether or not they've gotten a penalty. Our two leaders in. Justin Negrete comes in from 4th, and Michael Overbay filters through to the lead of the race. Let's check out the pit stop time comparison here. 4.6 seconds for Fournier, 4.1 for Caraballo, but around the same in terms of lane time. Caraballo didn't gain as much as he probably thought he would, but the battle is still on.
I think that was really all on the launch out of the pit stall. It looked like to me that Caraballo had a better entry. It looked like he closed up a good bit of gap on that entry. Now there's a little bit of accordion effect, but let's watch this as they come down to the Spitzkehrer under the braking zone. Nope, gonna stay tucked in behind him. No point in passing just yet. He just needs to put a little bit of a question. So Caraballo needs to put a little bit of question in Fournier's head, and looks like he's going to run up the inside as we get into Mercedes. Fournier going wide, holding that inside line, going into braking right up at the apex. This could go on for a couple of corners, but nope, it looks like Caraballo is going to be our effective leader of those who have pit.
Fantastic move as well. Set it up with the wide exit for Fournier out of Spitzkehrer, and then got it done around the outside at Mercedes. But now they've got Matt Dinsmore for company here, and Dinsmore is not in any rush to let them go. Oh, this is going to be very frustrating for Caraballo. Remember, this is not for position. Dinsmore's in 25th place, and he's going to let them go on the front straight. But that little bit of extra time lost there for Caraballo actually doesn't look like it's cost him all that much. Fournier was backing off a little bit there as well. But we have more takers onto the pit lane, Byron Daley and Stephen Ridders. It's a 5.8 second stop for Daley. Ridders yet to come into his box. And Daley comes out in 7th place. Very good stuff there, and with all of that flurry done, it looks like everyone in the field has come in for a stop, and oh, he's already facing off against Fernando Rodriguez coming into the Einfahrt Parabolica. Will Rodriguez be able to get this done at the Spitzkehrer? Take it easy, boys. This is going to be tight. It's defensive for Daley. Oh, and getting squeezed all the way to the inside by Rodriguez. Moves back out to the racing line. Daley's going to have the inside, and it looks like it might work out for him in the short term, but a bit of a straighter exit there for Rodriguez. He's going to try round the outside here through the kink. Oh, there's a tiny little bit of overlap. Is he brave enough to go for the move into Mercedes? Looks like he is. He's going to try and force the issue. They almost bang wheels, the two of them. These guys fighting over 7th and 8th. This is fantastic.
Yeah, every position is worth fighting for, even if it's to be not last. Now, this is very clearly not last, but I will always fight for a position if I think I can do it. Now, if I'm in a position like the unfortunate place Max Chablis is, sure, I'll let things go. But if you've got a running car that's in good shape, I'm going to fight for that spot.
And fight for that spot. Fernando Rodriguez did passes Byron Daley, but will Daley be able to get him back? Daley still up 9 places, Rodriguez up 7. This race has been so chaotic that we've seen plenty of drivers gain a lot of positions throughout this field, but the most positions gained belongs to Andres Echevarria down in 15th. He's up 16 spots. So, oh, hello, there's a bit of smoke there in the final couple of corners. That's a car spun. And looks like that's one of that's one of the Throttle Thursday cars at the very least.
Yeah, I recognize the paint job, but couldn't quite catch the number there. But let's take a look here. I want to go take a look at the battle for the last position on the podium. Oh, wait, no, we're going to stay here. Look at this. This is a nice run. This is Rodriguez going up the inside. Same move we watched on the last lap as they go into the Mercedes corner. A little bit different on the exit. Oh, this is a really nice run that he's got going on here. Rodriguez just trying to get in there. Can't quite put it down. Daley is holding on just behind. Rodriguez is just holding on to that spot. Man, that's some good racing.
Yeah, that was Daley trying to take the position back from Rodriguez, and gotta say, really nice, clean but close battling that we're seeing from those guys. It's another fastest lap for Moises Caraballo, who is now in the lead versus Alex Fournier as both cars go off there in the battle for 7th and 8th. Daley sweeps by Rodriguez. Crucially, didn't catch the grass, was a bit unstable over the curb, but Rodriguez was the one who got into the slow stuff. Meanwhile, here's Justin Negrete trying to take the podium position away from Michael Diaz.
Yeah, they're going through the Parabolica right now. Look at the speed difference as they come up into the braking zone. A little bit of a jiggle there to kind of make it unsure, but gets down around the inside. They are side by side, power down. This is a drag race, but not on the drag strip of this particular track. There is a drag strip here. Watch them as they enter to the Mercedes section. Looks like, oh, just a pinch ahead, but is he going to over under? Nope, looks like he's going to hold his spot. I can almost feel him shaking his head right there.
Yeah, awful. A bit of a shake from Michael Diaz's car there as they made their way through the right-hander. That car is not looking too stable, but have a look at how aggressive on the turn-in Justin Negrete is. He's going to have to wait a little bit longer here for another move, but we saw how strong the slipstream was.
So we look across the actual drag strip there. Now, nice run using a little bit of the curbing, exactly like you're supposed to. You can get the entire car even out there on the green. Fast sweep through turn 1. Use all the curbing on the exit there. Now, right here, this is the spot. This is where you're going to set up a turn.
Very late.
Very late. And just a little too late in contact. That's going to do it. That's Negrete. Oh, man. That was not what he wanted to have happen there for sure.
Yeah, very late on the brakes into Einfahrt Parabolica, and poor Michael Overbay couldn't really do much about that. Went right into the side of him as he spun. So Overbay is carrying a little bit of damage now to the left side of his front wing. Now they're going to have to keep an eye out for Laurent Christophe Deruel, who is a teammate to Alex Fournier. Both of these cars carrying damage now to their front wings, but Deruel still has a clean car. He could potentially look at fourth here.
Yeah, he's in a good position with the damage on Negrete's car. Deruel is only about half a second off of him and closing. He's actually closing this up. He's down to 4/10, back out to 5, trying to do this 5 laps to go. Can he get up into that 4th position or even 3rd? Wow, he's got time to do it, but let's stay on. I love this shot. It gives you a beautiful impression of speed right down there on the nose. It almost overstates the speed, but I can tell you, even sitting in the driver's seat, it's crazy fast going through that part.
Yeah, just touching 100 miles an hour through those last couple of turns at the Hockenheim ring in these Formula 3s. And not the best exit from turn 1 there for Negrete. Deruel fancies a chance here up the inside of Einfahrt Parabolica, gets on the brakes and makes the position, but will Negrete be able to get him back? That's benefited Overbay. Have a look at the gap that he has now. It's a second now over Deruel. Negrete might try to get him back here, coming into Spitzkehre. Oh, Deruel's going to stay middle of the road, force Negrete to take the outside line, but as we've seen, the outside line in this hairpin is not the worst place to be. Deruel is ahead at the apex, but the over-under attempt here from Negrete might work out for him. He's got another long, flat-out section here to take advantage of the slipstream. Will he pull out to the inside? No, he won't. It's going to be Deruel defending into Mercedes, and considering that they've got the tight and twisty final sector to come, I think Deruel's going to stay in front.
Yeah, with the damage to his front wing, Negrete definitely needs to have Deruel in front of him on those long straights. If he's going to do anything, it's going to be in 4 laps time and right in this section of the track. He needs to have that big hole in the air made for him, because he's got way too much drag, and with the car in front of him, it helps him out a lot.
That it does. Well, Deruel will try to catch up to Michael Overbay soon, but checking in with our leader with 3 laps to go, Moises Caraballo has put on a fantastic drive here today, shown that he has excellent pace, and definitely the most consistent driver up the front in terms of race pace. Now he is 2.6 seconds ahead of Alex Fournier. You see him in the background there with a lapped car in between them. That's the 711 of Barry Cochrane in 20th place. Cochrane's going to pull over to let Fournier by, but I think Cochrane should still be quite happy. He's up 10 places here, started in 30th.
Yeah, that's quite the climb there. 10 places for anybody. That's a lot of fun when you're in the race car and you are able to make 10 passes, and when they're on track too, and it's not just somebody spinning off, but you were able to get around. Now let's take a look here. This is Rodriguez in 8th. He's turned to 1:31.4 on his last lap, getting into a little bit of trouble, having a hard time getting around here. I'm not sure what's going on with him.
Yeah, it looks like, well, remember he was battling with Byron Daley just before. Daley, you see him there in the 06, has gotten away from him now. So Rodriguez has lost pace somewhere along the way and battling now with Robert Ridgway for 8th place. Look at how much curb he's using. I'm amazed that they're able to get through that without spinning. I think if it was me, I'd be spinning at just about every corner of this track. I never could quite gel with the Dallara Formula 3.
Yeah, the Dallara is a little bit heavily sprung to be able to hit the curbs quite that hard, but I want to go back up. Let's take a look at Deruel on Overbay. These guys are starting to get really close. It is under a 10th. Oh, trying to get right up on the back wing there, putting down the power to come through Einfahrt Parabolica. As he works his way around through there, he is right in the draft. We're about to see a pass. I don't know if it's going to happen at Spitzka or if he's going to try to make it happen at Mercedes, but he's got the speed to get up on the inside. I think he's too far down the inside, though. That is too big of a gap between them. Brings it back over to the left side, does make the pass, gets a full car length ahead of him, puts down the power. Now is Overbay going to be able to come back, though? This is a great over-under opportunity because you've got yet another straight, and even this little bend right here, that is full throttle, and all the way up here to right at that service road where you go into brakes. So we watch Overbay close that gap up very nicely. Is Deruel going to be able to hold on to this? Does he have the ability to stay out there? Overbay may have been a little bit surprised by that.
Yeah, might have. I think he's just yielded that position for now. You see that Deruel is increasing the gap, and look at the two cars behind them. That's Justin Negrete and Byron Daley, who is really now rounding up Justin Negrete. They're side by side through the last couple of corners, and round the outside into the final 2 corners goes Byron Daley. Once again showing that if you want a driver who's going to not qualify as well but work his way up through the field, Daley is your man. He is up 11 places now as we have started the final lap now for our leader, Moises Caraballo, setting yet another fastest lap on his way to what is almost certainly an assured victory at the moment. Touch wood.
And just because I like him, Mr. Sneaky, he's kind of got a lap race on his own, 7 seconds behind him, to almost 3 seconds in front of him. But, you know, Mr. Sneaky, he's up into 12th position. He's up 9 positions. Nice run today. Sneaking his way up there. Not quite enough to get in the top 10. I think we were predicting him to be in top 10, though, right? Weren't we saying he was going to get there?
Yes, we were. Well, if there's a problem for the 4-car battle for 4th place on this final lap, then he's certainly going to get that. But only a few more corners to go now for Moises Caraballo, and he can certainly be proud of this one. Not as close to his teammate as he was in previous rounds, but almost went wrong for him out of the final corner. He is going to take the victory, though. There's dramas happening on the final lap. Byron Daley has gone off the circuit, and oh, goodness gracious, Justin Negrete still fancies a chance at him here to get 6th place back. Doesn't look like it's going to happen, though. As long as they can keep it together through these last couple of corners, then that will be that. So there we go. That's going to be Overbay in 5th, Daley 6th, and Negrete in 7th, as that's a big problem there for Rodriguez. The side pod is heavily damaged there.
Ooh, Rodriguez, yeah, has some interesting damage on that car, and that is our amateur winner, Jonathan Almanar.
Good stuff there from Almanar, up 10 places and working his way through the field very nicely. Oh man, what a dramatic race that was. We've still got positions up for grabs here. Gunderson and Berry trying to work themselves out through the last turns here, but it looks like Gunderson has the edge here. Will finish 16th overall.
Yeah, interesting race here. Wow, so much action. Teammates working together, inter-team battles. Wow, just a lot of fun today. These guys know how to put on a show.
That they do, and well, it's going to be a double podium once again for the Precision Racing Esports cars. They're not registered as a team, so they're not competing for the team's title, but still fantastic to see. And Alex Fournier and Deruel, the 2 teammates in 2nd and 4th, great results there. And have to say, that's going to set things up well coming into the final 2 rounds of this season. So We will go to a very short break here on the Global Sim Racing channel. When we come back, we'll go through our official race results and have a chat to our podium getters.
Hey there, I'm Nicholas Dubois, co-founder of Advanced Sim Racing. We are a Canadian company. So what we did here today is for a real petrol head. He's really passionate about cars, as you can see behind me. We did a turnkey solution for him based on his needs. We try to gather as much information as we can on our client. And like we did today, we install a D-box system. We install ultra-wide cube control steering wheel. We try to provide the best quality for your budget. So let's say if you want a budget of 10 grand, we're gonna give you something that's the best for 10 grand. If you want 20 grand, then we always try to stay within your boundaries. We do try to make it as easy as possible. So the client, once we install everything, it's pretty much gonna be a turnkey. So he's gonna press start on his computer, and right after, we'll try to explain everything, how it goes, how it works, and then he's ready to go. Our aluminum is from USA, treated in Canada, cut in Canada. So we do sand all our aluminum piece just to make sure the powder coat sticks to it. And that's one of the reasons why we use powder coat, is to make sure you have the best aluminum finish in the industry. And our quality is beyond what you can get with any other competitors right now. We are really, really passionate about all the gear, all the cockpits, all the sim hardware, and that's why we want to create something that's really going to reflect our passion into our product. Come visit us at advancedsimracing.com. You can always reach us if you have any questions. You can call us, you can text us, you can go on Facebook, like our page, ask us questions over there, and we'll make sure to answer every questions there is. We are very passionate about what we do, and we try to make it as easier for you to go into the sim racing world, because there's a lot of gear, there's a lot of options, but let us guide you through your process, and let's hope you'll be an Advanced Sim Racing customer.
Drama in PRL Formula 3 seems like business as usual. Moises Caraballo takes victory by 4.2 seconds over Alex Fournier, with Michael Diaz completing the podium. Laurent Christophe de Ruel finishes 4th from 11th. A great drive from him. Michael Overbay gains 1 place to round out the top 5. Byron Daley makes it into 6th despite some adventures on the final lap, and Justin Negrete in 7th. Robert Ridgway and Stephen Ritters 8th and 9th. Our AM winner is Jonathan Almanar.
And in P11 overall, P10 in class, Mr. Sneaky Takeshi Kita, 40 seconds back in P11, Manuel Vargas in 12th. We got Tyler Gore, Echevarria, Gunderson, Barry, Heffernan, Rodriguez, Carter, and 1 lap back is going to be Barry Coltrane filling out our top 20.
Michael Blaze also joins Cochrane a lap down, with Ho Yin Lung 3 laps down. A big shame there for Lung. Same for Matt Dinsmore as well, 4 laps down. Richard Swindell's had issues earlier on. He finishes 5 laps down along with Max Shabley, our pole sitter. Man, what a heartbreak there for Shabley, stealing pole at the last second, but has to settle for 25th place. Greg Doucette, 7 laps down. Carangis is going to be one of our retirees, along with Neil Alexander, Juan Cofre, Raymond Day, and Michael Cofre, rounding out our field, out only 4 laps in. So now we will go to our driver interviews, and the first driver we're going to have a chat to is Moises Caraballo, with a fantastic drive to victory. Moises, thank you very much for joining us, and congratulations. Looked like you had the race pace here today.
Hello guys, how are you today? Yes, was a very good race. I feel very comfortable with the car and the track. I like a lot this track, one of my favorite tracks of iRacing. And today came to do my best, and that's what you got.
That is indeed what you got. And, well, it was a pretty chaotic race all up here around Hockenheim. How was that first lap for you? Because you started in third place and it didn't seem like you had much in the way of pace on the first lap to try and keep up with the likes of Fournier and Chablis. But it all just came together for you. It was all about consistency and avoiding those mistakes.
Yeah, the first like 3 laps was very difficult because everybody goes together and the draft here is very, very, very big. So the guys came and they throw the car trying to pass each other's. Everybody do his race, but I was trying to avoid in contacts, avoiding everything. So more in the race, I try to do my best and put my pace on. That's what you got. I think I was very, very, very good with the race pace. I like the cars, how it feels. The setup was very quick.
Certainly looked like it from the commentary box as well. Well, that's your first win of the season after 7 rounds of trying. Do you think you'll be able to fight for victory again in the last 2 rounds?
I will do my best. I will try to fight for the victories, but I want to help Michael Diaz. I want to Michael win the championship. He's my teammate, and I will be working for him.
Ever the team player, Moises Caraballo. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank for your top step on the podium?
Yeah, I want to thank for the guys from PRL Sports. I want to thank Abner Acosta, my big friend. He's always with me. He helped a lot with the setup, doing laps with us, and together we got this victory.
Well, that's Moises Caraballo taking victory for PRL Sports. Meanwhile, Michael Johnson is going to be with our AM class winner, Jonathan Almanar, chatting to him about a 10th place overall.
Well, 10 is a good number for you today, Jonathan. You finished in 10th. You made up 10 positions. And it was kind of interesting. You had Steven Ritters in front of you a ways back. You had Mr. Sneaky behind you. Did you feel like you were in a nice, comfortable little sandwich there where you were safe to take this victory today?
Yeah. I saw him. I actually let him pass by. I was not in any business to to fight with him, right? So, but yeah, I was comfortable back there.
Yeah, it looked like you had kind of a quiet race, not a lot going on. There was plenty going on all around you, but hey, you worked your way through the field. There were a couple of people who had incidents that helped elevate you up there. Was this how you saw this coming out? Did you expect to be on the podium today and even the top step of the podium, or was it kind of a surprise at the end?
So it was a little bit of a surprise. I knew it was gonna be a very accident race. But yeah, it was a little bit of a surprise. I know Hugh had an accident, and then Dosset, I think, lost the car when I was trying to catch him up. And yeah, after that, yeah, you're right. It was quiet. I was involved in one accident, but I was able to recover.
Yeah, it didn't look like you had too much damage on your car. Your lap time seemed to be pretty consistent through the race. Little traffic here and there, I guess, causes differences. Is there anybody in particular you have to thank for today's victory?
Well, my team, SDS Racing Team, they're always supporting me, watching the races. And my teammate, Fernando Rodriguez, he's racing. He had a bad accident at the end because of a lap maker, but it's racing. But thank you guys for the transmission. Great job.
Well, thank you. Appreciate you being here. Love talking to you. That was Jonathan Almanar, our first place winner in the AM category. But Reese right now has the teammate of our winner. This is going to be Michael Diaz talking to him.
Indeed. Championship leader coming into this round and championship leader going out of it as well with yet another podium. Michael, you must be happy with how things went.
Hey, guys. Yeah, absolutely. Especially considering for me, it was a terrible race, actually, because I was just getting contact all over the place. dodging cars left and right. Some people were just like overly aggressive today. I don't know if they're targeting me or something.
Well, either way, coming across, I mean, I'm watching you on the broadcast now. Very hard push across the curbs here at Hockenheim. How is it in a Formula 3? Because this track is usually famous as a single-seater circuit, but those anti-cut curbs and those very rough sawtooth curbs on the exits can really play havoc with these cars.
Yeah, the blue curves weren't too bad. The only curve that was like a real issue was that before the last corner, that one on the drag strip. If you hit that, you're gone. But other than that, it was pretty good.
Well, the next track we race at is going to be Road Atlanta. How are you feeling about that?
I like it. I don't know if I'm good around it, but I do like it. Just hope to survive and grab as many points as I can. That's basically what I'm after now. Just try to keep the lead in the championship.
I'm sure you'll be able to do that, Michael. Thank you very much for joining us. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, of course, the guys at PRL, Moises, my teammate, Francis for spotting, and the guys at D2, including Diego, for watching the race and all that. Thanks.
Michael Diaz getting on the podium once more, proving his consistency in the PRL Formula 3 series. Well, Michael, that is going to bring to an end proceedings for tonight. What a fantastic race. And tell you what, in both of the championships we broadcast here on Thursday nights, it is probably going to come down to the wire.
It looks like it is. And the tracks we have coming up, it's going to be exciting. Road Atlanta, that's where the Petit Le Mans is run, and there's always a lot of activity, especially when you get up towards the top of the hill, kind of similar to what we were seeing at Spitzka here. It's going to be an exciting finish to the season. Things are very close, as you saw early on when we went through the standings. So yeah, tune in next week. We have no idea how this is going to finish, but it is if it's going to be anything, it's going to be exciting.
That it is, and you'll be able to catch that next Thursday night. Before we go, one more thanks to the series sponsors at the Precision Racing League. Advanced Sim Racing. They design and build the sturdiest and most durable aluminium profile racing simulation cockpits available in the market today. Visit them at advancedsimracing.com. Also brought to you by RaceLab. It helps you to improve your driving skills. Start using it now for free at racelab.app. ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing at thebuttkicker.com. And of course, NinjaTrader. Visit ninjatrader.com and get started with a risk-free trading simulator to start tracking your performance. Thanks to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcasts, listed here on your screen. Additional thanks must go to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. Check out her Bandcamp for more awesome work. Thanks to the team today, Michael, Joe, and Dougie. You can find more info about GSRC at globalsimracingchannel.com or through our social media listed on the screen. Also, please check out our merchandise store at gsrc.storeenvy.com. We keep a link in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, so you don't miss a moment here on GSRC. Next time, of course, the Ferraris are going to be racing at Laguna Seca and the F3s at Road Atlanta on Thursday, May the 19th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We also have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. Until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.